Welcome back to the Down Below, where I'll be recapping and reviewing the penultimate episode of Silo. For those of you who haven't watched episode 9 yet, I am going to be discussing key plot details, so this is your spoiler warning. And as usual, don't miss out on our new YouTube channel that we're launching called The Horror Exchange. Links down below. Well, we're now at the closing stages of Series 1, and what I'm looking for as a reviewer is a strong rounding off to many of the questions that I've accumulated throughout the previous episodes. For example, what's on the hard drive? Where on earth is this door to the outside, which hasn't received a lot of attention since the early episodes? And what actually is outside? Well, we take a positive step in the right direction to ascertaining those answers in episode 9, which overall I can confirm was enjoyable in my opinion. Just like episode 8, episode 9 opens with a direct continuation scene where Juliet, unsurprisingly, survives her leap of faith off the railings onto a lower concrete platform. Both Billings and Sims are in full-blown pursuit for Juliet, who again manages to give them both the slip. Sims questions the integrity of Billings, asking him how he helped her get away, and this is an interesting subplot which continues throughout the episode. Billings is once again stuck between a rock and a hard place. Does he do his job as a deputy? Can he do his job as a deputy? And what if he found out the truth about the silo? I'll discuss this more soon. But as aforementioned, the episode is a big manhunt to detain Juliet before she can cause any more damage to the silo, and in the words of Bernard, cause extinction. The pacing was great and didn't slow down for a second, which had me literally leant forward for the entirety of watching. Shout out to the score for this one, which definitely supported the ramp up in plot progression. We get another emotionally charged scene between Billings and his wife. Again, the focus here is on his deteriorating condition, the syndrome. Billings tells a captivating anecdote about how he met another kid when he was younger who also had the syndrome, and as a result could tell that Billings had it. The kid tried to bond with Billings over the syndrome, and Billings ended up beating him to a pulp, knocking his 2 front teeth out in an attempt just to keep him quiet. This was massively out of character for what the show has developed Billings to be, and it really put it into perspective how important it was and is to keep this illness under wraps. But it was surprising to see his wife go against him and basically say he only earned the role as deputy because he hid his condition, meaning that he isn't in that position based on merit, but a lie. And off the back of this, Billings goes on a mission to search for clues as to why Juliet asked to go outside and clean. Sims starts his search for Juliet by visiting Dr. Nichols and questions him if he knows where she is. I like this scene because off the back of his conversation with Juliet in the last episode about how he should have been there for her and his late wife, he does stand up to Judicial and rejects the system for the first time. He asks Sims if he would help people hunting his child if he were in his position. Interestingly though, Sims responds with a yes because the 10,000 other people in the silo are more of a priority. But Sims does go against his word here, and he doesn't practice what he preaches later in the episode. Additionally, we get our first insight into Sims's wife, Camille, and their son. They're intercepted by some raiders, which Sims has sent to escort them back to their house. They have orders to look inside and secure the home, but Camille rejects this and insists that they don't do that, as she has 12 years of raider experience, so she knows how to look after herself. Of course, Juliet is inside and takes her captive in her own home, threatening her with a knife and then handcuffing her to a pipe using her own handcuffs. This is one of the criticisms that I have of the episode. Camille manages to escape the cuffs using keys she has in her own pocket. So first of all, why does she have the keys to her own handcuffs in her pocket? It's a bit of a random thing to carry around with you all day. But also, why didn't Juliet search for those keys in her pockets before she incapacitated Camille? Maybe a small oversight from the writers, but it just didn't seem to make much sense to me. Juliet finds the hard drive on the bed and plugs it into Sims's computer, which reveals a video that George had made for her. I did find it fascinating to see Juliet's reaction to this, as it's the first time she's ever seen a video. Although Camille just seemed to dismiss it and gave Juliet an ultimatum of staying and watching the video and getting caught, or not watching it and leaving. Meanwhile, Billings is searching around Juliet's apartment after Judicial have left, trying to find clues for his own investigation as to why Juliet would ask to go outside. He goes into the bathroom and finds a seal around the cabinet, revealing the Georgia travel guide relic behind it. Now again, I thought this was a little bit stupid. It's the most obvious defect, having a rubber seal around the bathroom storage unit pointing to a secret area. But he then reads the travel guide, tears a page out and burns the book in the oven. As for Bernard, well, he seems to be feeling the ongoing pressure of the manhunt, and he has a strange locket which he's holding on his person that has the number 18 on it. This is the same serial number which is on the hard drive, which we find out when he threatens Kyle with sending him outside as an appropriate punishment for going against the silo and doing essentially nothing when Juliet sent him that message in the cafeteria in the last episode. It was also quite amusing when he said that he knew that Juliet had smashed his mirror, damaging the air quality monitor. Nice, so not the camera that's been spying on them all. The way he speaks to him is so condescending and violent though. Bernard is definitely playing the role of the villain well at the minute, since the revelation that he's responsible for the murders. Bernard also turns on Sims a little bit in the control room. He's found out that he sent the raiders to escort his family home when Juliet was on the run, rather than protecting the silo, and because of that he doesn't think he can consider Sims to be his shadow anymore. This links well to a scene where Sims goes home to his wife to check on them, and she says that they have one goal and one ambition, which is clearly to be mayor one day. Now that's obviously in serious doubt due to his decision to put his family's safety before the silo. I know that Judicial are very by the book and follow the rules or the pact to the absolute letter, and they do abuse their power at times, but Bernard seems to have just completely superseded the whole judicial department in his delusion about putting the silo above all else. But in the final scenes of the episode, Juliet is hiding out at Patrick Kennedy's house, who invites a system hacker from IT who is part of a ring that hacks the silo's security network and fences stolen goods for the marketplace. Because Juliet needs a computer with a CSOP clearance to finish looking at the files, and because Judicial can track what PC is looking at the hard drive, the hacker can redirect, I guess, the equivalent of an IP address to somewhere else to get inside the hard drive. Again, the video of George starts up and we get another humorous reaction from Kennedy, who is also seeing a video for the very first time. We do get closure on George's feelings for Juliet though, as he says that his original intentions were to use her for his own gain, but ultimately he did end up falling in love with her. He also says that he found the door to the outside that he's been looking for. It's 15 foot tall and huge, and that the water is nothing to worry about. Please, for the love of God, show me this door in the season finale. Juliet clicks on a file entitled Jane Carmody, which shows a personal camera which seems to be attached to her when she's outside the silo. She says the display in the cafeteria is a lie. People have to know. And that is the end of the episode, so it looks like the writers are possibly going to reveal everything in the finale at this point, which is very ambitious to say the least. But if they don't, and there's still loads of cliffhangers, I think I'll be quite annoyed how we've been strung along each week with more and more questions cropping up. But one question I do have for all you guys in the comments section is, what do you think about Apple TV's weekly episode release? Or do you prefer Netflix's style of just dropping the full entire season in one go? I think dropping the full season could possibly have helped Silo, because they've definitely left the carrot dangling every single week. But that's my overall recap and review of the episode, with my score so far of the series being around about a 7 out of 10. The finale definitely has a lot to deliver to elevate Silo into the upper echelons of TV series. Otherwise, it is just a decent watch, but not an essential one. Please let me know all your thoughts and opinions anyway, and don't forget to subscribe to The Horror Exchange. I've been your host, Hugh from Unleash the Ghouls, and I'll see you next week down below for my final review of Silo.